Right, I have been moving a little bit around the world lately, and this time I'm in Korea to check out the Kia EV4. Now, the interesting thing about this is that, well, everyone these days loves an SUV, loves a hatchback. This one's a sedan, and it's gunning straight at that other sedan, the Tesla Model 3. Right, let's do a bit of a walk around. Now, one thing I've got to make clear is that we do not have specifications or pricing for this vehicle for New Zealand yet, so we're kind of having a bit of a guess. But, you know, what we know is that it's going to be a little bit aligned, we think, with the range of the EV3 because it shares a very similar platform. It shares a 400-volt version of the Kia Hyundai EMP platform. So that means you get NMC batteries for their weight advantages and energy density. And up here we have the fast charging port. So you have two battery options. You have a 58 kilowatt hour unit and 81 kilowatt hour unit, and they charge at 100 and 135 kilowatt respectively. That's going to be decently fast for the smaller battery. That's probably at the lower end for the bigger battery, but I guess the idea there is that you've got so much range, up to 630 kilometers, that you're actually not going to be that stressed about charging when you're out there in the field. But anyway, that's up the front. I know it's controversial. Some people like it at the back, some people like the front. I'm easy either way. As an auto driver, that's pretty familiar to me. We have these big alloys here. Kia's kind of typical squared off style, aero covers there. If we come around, these are some incredibly unique headlights. Well, unique in that we've seen them as well in a similar form on the EV3. Big bonnet here, no frunk under there. But I guess because this is a front wheel drive model, they need the space there for various things. But now we have cameras around the car for 360-degree cameras. Kia's very big on that. They're also very big in Korea on tinted windows. We won't necessarily get that. And I'm not sure we're going to get this lovely flat blue paint color either. We have a partial glass roof, does not go all the way to the back. And flippy door handles. I'm going to catch my fingers in them. I hate them. I get why they've got them there. And in a car like this, it's very important because this has a 0.23 drag coefficient. That is a really low drag coefficient, and they say that is part of the reason why this car goes such a long way. And interestingly, the hatchback, because it doesn't have quite as long of a raked out area as the sedan version, if you can call it a sedan, it kind of looks a bit odd for a sedan, that has a 0.27 drag coefficient. So the design, I think, works, and I guess all of it adds to it. I just don't like it. Interestingly, it does have these big black plastic wheel arches. Now, I'm not entirely sure why. This is a city sedan, but I guess it does give a hint of SUV, and everyone likes a little bit of SUV these days. Yeah, interesting design choice by Kia there. I'm not sure I dislike it, but certainly different. Now, if we come around to the back, and this is something that is controversial, the rear end styling of this car. I can tell you in person on the road, it works really well. I like driving behind this. Well, you know, I like driving behind any car. But I think from behind on the road, it actually makes it look really substantial, really modern, and really funky. These hooked over lights here, this kind of big, substantial rear end to the car. Now, you've got the window here, which I've actually been seeing okay out of. If there's a downside to this car, it is this. We'll open it. This boot opening that is electric. Now, despite this boot being really big, I suspect it is going to be a little bit of a shuffle getting certain things in there. It's going to be fine for suitcases. You can slide those in. And I think probably upright on this side, you'd get maybe 3 in there, which is impressive for a car in this class and great if you want to use this for Ubers and the like, but it's not ideal. You're not going to get a chair from IKEA in there on a weekend unless it remains very flat packed. Nice to see that it's got the electric tailgate though. And we have these little handy catches here that, despite the fact this is a sedan, you can pull and drop down the rear seats. Right, let's go take a look inside. Right, now jumping into the Kia EV4. And when I did my initial video you may have watched on the pre-production unit that we had in New Zealand, I wasn't massively impressed with the interior. I have entirely changed my mind now that I'm looking at the car here in Korea. That one obviously was a little bit pre-production, and this thing has just been so much better built, I think. The last one felt a bit plasticky, this doesn't. You've got really nice materials around the top, these cool kind of marble look, I'm guessing recycled materials around the handles, same with the fabric on here. It all feels really nice. I love this finish. It's not piano black, and I think it's probably a lot more hard wearing and durable than piano black as well. We have their big screen. I think it adds up to about 40 odd inches, but realistically it's a couple of big screens along there. Let's see if we can power it up actually. You've got your power button down there and your transmission shifter there. So you've got these two giant screens and your air conditioning ones in the middle. I'll say the same thing I said about EV3. That screen there does get a little bit blocked by the steering wheel, but interestingly, as I thought, on left-hand drive vehicles, this is actually better. It is actually reachable and viewable on left-hand drive cars. So it seems that my concerns maybe were right-hand drive focused. Otherwise, look, in here it's very, very Kia. The same steering wheel we've seen before. We have controls on there for things like the stereo, the drive modes, the lane keeping, and the adaptive cruise control. Over here we've got touch buttons to get you through to various things in the sat-nav system, air conditioning vents, volume, big chunky buttons there to get your heat and ventilation going quickly. And then down here we have USB ports, including one that does 100 watts of USB charging. That is a lot of USB power. That beats BYD, who have, you know, the big advantage they've had lately for some people is 60 watt USB-C charging. Well, 100 watts, they have been blown out of the water. Down here we have just some storage area, the key, that's what it looks like, cup holders, and another big storage tray here. Over here, buttons for, that's hill descent control. Not sure why we have that in the sedan, but nice to have. The parking cameras and auto hold for the handbrake. Is there storage under here? No, not really, but still a nice, comfortable armrest. And how big is that glove box? Fairly decent. Right, let's go have a look in the back. Right, now the now world famous Richard test. Do I fit? Well, sort of. There's lots of knee room, perfect for that, no worries at all. Where it really comes shy is headroom. Headroom in the back of this thing is tight. I have to reiterate, I am well beyond the size of an average human being, but you know, this is a little bit tight, and it's far tighter than a Kia EV3. You do have the ability, if you're in that side, to make some small space by sliding the seat forward using buttons there. You do have USB ports in the back. And the seat itself is quite comfortable. The padding is good. There's plenty of underneath support. The actual distance to the floor is not too bad. Just perhaps that front seat in this mode, a little bit close to the ground. I wonder if, yeah, I could probably put that up a bit and we should be fine, but just that headroom just is a little bit compromised. Otherwise, a really nicely finished space. I wonder if this car could actually be helped out by a glass roof just to create more space through here rather than that half sliding roof up there. But got to reiterate, I'm a big guy. For most people, this is going to be absolutely fine. I'm going to jump back in the front and take this for a drive. Right, so now we're behind the wheel of the Kia EV4, and I am really impressed. We've been done quite a few miles today across Korea in this car, and the chassis has proven itself to be really comfortable, but actually still relatively sporty and reasonably dynamic to drive. Now, power-wise, you've got numbers which probably undersell a little bit what the car can actually do. We have 150 kilowatts of power output, 283 newtons of torque that's going through the front wheels. The smaller battery version, that makes it good for 7.4 seconds to 100, and for this version, 7.7. So it's not a slow car, it's not a fast car either, it's right down the middle. But the key thing is, it feels nice and torquey in the mid-range, and on the motorways we've been able to overtake, even around some of the twistier bits, been able to overtake. We have a really fun day. It's matched with good brakes, four-wheel disc brakes. You've also got 3 levels of regen, and you've got these paddles here to do that. and you've got automatic regen as well. So when you come up towards the back of another vehicle or you're coming down a hill, it'll match the regen to make sure you get the most efficient braking and you're not kind of running into the back of things or running away down a hill where you'd have to put your foot on the brake. So super handy. Similarly, you've got really good driver assistance features here. The lane keeping system on this is exceptional. I don't normally do this, but if I line up in the lane here and turn that on, I can go pretty much hands-on for a reasonable length of time, and it's really competent at staying in the lane and heading around the corner as it is now. Similarly, you've got adaptive cruise control. I don't recommend doing this purely for education, keeping hands on the wheel. So that system works well. You've also got blind spot detection, all the usual stuff, full suite of airbags. If this thing doesn't get a 5-star ANCAP, I'll eat this hat. Hold me to this, Matthew. Now driver-wise, you've got Eco, Normal, Sport, and Snow. Sport really does make a difference to the throttle. It's not really a throttle, to the accelerator kind of responsiveness, and also the steering. The steering weights up based on which mode you're in. Doesn't change the suspension in this particular car, but that does seem to work pretty well at changing the character of the car a little bit. Now the seats, very comfortable seats. We've both loved the headrests in them, lovely and airy too, so they're not they're going to make your head sweaty or anything like that. So super nice to have those here. They are electric in the front as well. So front seat passengers are very well catered for, if perhaps the ones in the back are missing out a little bit on headroom. Now the big screens up here, they are lovely and visible. Lots of things you can do with those. Navigation standard on this one, of course, thankfully for where we are. Wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto as well. Now through those screens you can also use you can control the vehicle to load system. This has 3.43 kilowatts of vehicle to load. We don't know yet if the adapter will be standard with the car. It is in the Kia EV4. You also got a power point in the back as well. But the car is also set up for vehicle to home and vehicle to grid. So we'll see if those exciting technologies come to New Zealand too. One thing that has landed in New Zealand from Kia already is their app. So you can use the Kia Connect app to control certain aspects of the car. And in some markets, hopefully ours soon, you better use that as a Bluetooth key. So the Kia EV4, what do I think? Well, if you compare it to things like the Tesla Model 3, I actually think this is a really smart choice. For one thing, the build. This thing is built so well. The ride is really nice. I'm sure we'll get some slight fettling to the ride for out of the end of the world, but even up here on some reasonably bumpy roads, this thing has been super comfortable. It's a really relaxed, mature drive, and Kia, their interiors are just really good. Is it the Kia I would buy? No, I would probably spend the same kind of budget on going over to an EV3 or an EV5. But for those who do want a sedan, do want something maybe a little bit sportier, this is a really good choice. Anyway, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe down below for more great videos from us.